Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
There's so much that you're capable of accomplishing and creating your life, sister, in 1 year. In 1 year. So as I record this podcast, I'm reflecting on this day because this was the day a year ago, so May 31st, it's now 2017, this was in May 31st, 2016, that I had my last day in practice as a chiropractor. That the dream of becoming and being a chiropractor and serving all the families that we did over the years in our community, we used to live in St. Albert, Alberta, ended by my choice, by our choice, by our decision to listen to the voice of something bigger for us. The voice that first spoke to me 5 years prior of there's a different message for you to speak, and I had no idea what it was. So I simply started to take action and create and do and blog and video blog and podcast 1 and podcast 2 and coaching, and I've gotten to this space. But I record this with a smile on my face because a year ago today was that very last day in practice. And I remember the day clearly, but kind of not so clearly. I remember bits and pieces. It had been 30 days that our patients had known that we were closing the doors of our office and moving here to BC. And so it had been a month of goodbyes and, lovely words said from our patients to us, their words of appreciation and gratitude. Lots of gratitude for what we created for our community. Gratitude for being able to see all the families that we did and babies that were now teens and young children. And I was ready because we had been preparing for this moment for a long time. I was ready about 2 years prior, but it happened as it happened. And so when I reflect back, I'm like, where were we a year ago? Okay, last day of practice, closing the doors. And just so you're aware, closing the doors of a business, let alone being a chiropractor, is not like I just closed the doors, handed the keys to the landlord and walked out. We're talking about 14 years of stuff in the practice to get rid of and to sell and to give away. We're talking about all the things that I have to have done as being a part of a professional organization. I can't just leave. I have to be able to find a new chiropractor for my patients. All the financial stuff, all the paying out of things that we had to do to close the doors of our practice, which was our choice because it was time for us to go. And we weren't willing to wait any longer. And the craziness that a lot of people thought that was inside of us for doing this, why would you do this? You could sell your practice for I know, but we've had it on the market for almost a year. It's time. Yeah, but you could no, it's time. It's time to move. It's literally time to move what we were doing business-wise. It's time to move our family. We knew we wanted to move out of Alberta, and the thing that was holding us there was the practice. Really nothing else. Of course, we had some great friends there and great support for our kids and community that we knew, and everything was comfortable, but it was time for us to level up. And at that point, a year ago, we had decided that the housing market in Victoria was just way too hot and crazy and difficult to try to figure out buying a new home in a city that we really had only been to once before, actually twice, including when we came out to visit 3 weeks prior to see hey, should we live here? We're yeah, let's live here. Let's move here. We were looking at rental properties. We were getting rid of stuff. We were selling one of our vehicles. We had our house listed. At this point, our house had the first offer in, which we accepted, and within 5 days. So at this point, our house was already sold, and we had 2 more months to get everything else done with the practice, with moving. I mean, so many moving parts and pieces with this. To move to Victoria, and then we moved here to Victoria, and we're like, oh, we did it. The 2-day drive with the kids and dogs and the other vehicle being shipped and all the moving of stuff and movers being late and sleeping on the floor and all the craziness. And then we get here, August 1st, August 3rd, we get the phone call from one of Ed's sisters that their mom had passed away. And so then we had the next 4 to 6 weeks of Ed back and forth to Ontario for the funeral, for getting all the stuff out of their mom's house, to, all the estate stuff. It was like moving from one, like our world being turned upside down, to feeling like, okay, like we did it. Oh my God, we made all this happen. Holy shit. To now here's another thing, with Ed's mom passing. And then the moving through from that and getting the kids settled into school and daycare, and we'd started to do some traveling at that point for business and had my first live event in October. The same hotel that I passed by the morning after we came into Victoria, only our second time out here to Victoria on what's called Vancouver Island. Got here on a Friday night, sick as a dog I'm feeling sick on the plane. We get into Victoria, I'm throwing up the whole night, some like funky food poisoning, I have no idea. Next morning, I'm like, we need to get stuff done. We're here. We don't have kids. Like, this is great. We're away. Yay, time for us. And there's Karen being sick. Awesome. And we get up the next morning and we're walking down the street where our hotel is in downtown Victoria. I walk a block past this beautiful hotel and I look over to Ed and I go, I'm having my first live event here. I just knew it. I hadn't even planned like a live. I just knew I was going to do one at some point. I'm like, this is where I'm going to have it. We came back from being in Victoria. I got the card. It's called the Parkside Hotel on Humboldt Street in downtown beautiful Victoria, BC. Grabbed the card, I walk in the hotel and I go, who's in charge of events? Gave me a card, said thank you. 2 weeks later, had the event booked and the date booked. No idea what I was doing. I followed and listened to the voice. So in October, I had the first live event. January, I had event number 2. Here we are now as I record this podcast. I'm 10 days away. Probably from the time that you'll actually hear this episode, we will be a week or less than a week away from live event on June 10th, 2017. Live event number 3. We've had 2 live events with my husband's business, one in Victoria, one in Vancouver. Countless women that I've coached during this time period, getting settled into a community, a city that we love. We were a 10-minute drive from the beach. We're moving into a house in 2 months that is literally across the street from the beach. We can see the ocean at our front window. And I go, oh my God, so much has happened in the last year. And I know I'm missing lots of bits and pieces in there. All the different traveling and the trips and speaking opportunities for my husband and how much our marriage has grown and how much more connected I feel to my children. I walk my son to school every single day. I drive my youngest son to daycare every single day. We do power words every single day. I feel more connected to my husband, my children, myself. Literally last October, a couple months after moving here, and so much just listening, doing all these things that were so fucking scary to do. That looking from the outside did look crazy to a lot of people. Why are you guys doing this stuff so quickly? Because it's time. Why move into Victoria? Because it feels like it's the right place to go. Because the voice is speaking to us. And we're following. We're listening and we're following and we're taking action. And we're taking action and we're taking action. So I look past over this year. Oh wait, I got off track with that story. So yes, last October, again, after all the stuff, all the changes, literally at the age of 47 and almost a half at that point. So I just turned 48 last week. 47 years it took me to really, truly fucking love myself. To feel this alignment with myself that I never felt before. How did that all happen? A commitment to getting clear on what I wanted, a commitment to doing the work required to really understand why that was important for me. A commitment to finding out who the fuck I am. It sounds so cliched, right? But when you can really discover who you are, you combine that with knowing what you want in your life, why it matters, and you put that all together in a blanket with committing to doing whatever it takes to make it happen. Sister, your life could change dramatically in the last year, just as mine has changed. It is possible. And it doesn't happen overnight. And you'll continue to do work that you don't feel like doing a lot of times. And it will be fucking hard. And it will all come together. And then you will have resistance. And you will question things. And if you simply continue to keep doing what's required to figure out who you are, to know what you want, to know why you must have these things, the possibility of you creating the life that you want is anything you want. Do you hear this? See, because if I would have heard a message like this a few years ago, I would have been like, you gonna go vision board that too? Good for fucking you. Why don't you go manifest that shit? That's great. Just think about it and it will just pop into your life. Because at that point, I was exhausted. I was unhappy in a lot of parts of my life. I felt trapped. I didn't feel like I was creating what I wanted within my life, and I felt like there was no way for me to get it. This was it. Wife, mom, chiropractor, I'll just take everybody else. Apparently my needs don't matter. That was the story that I ran. So if you're running that, I can empathize with that. I get it. I was there. But what I've found to be true, and when I teach to my clients that I coach one-on-one, that I coach in group masterminds, that I coach in a program I created about 3 months ago called the Sisterhood, that I'll be speaking into the live event June 10th, 2017 here in Victoria, BC, is that you can create your life however you want it to be. And yes, there's significance that you can create in a year. So if you would like to know how to get started with this, I'm going to give you 2 things to do this. Number 1, you need to join the Sisterhood. Join the Sisterhood. This is a group of women, an online community that are committed to power their life. They're committed to figure out who they are and what they want and why it matters. See, there's power being in a group of women like you, having that accountability, having an action plan, having access to me as a powerful coach. And I created the Sisterhood because there was a lot of you that I would get on the phone that would apply to coach with me for several $1,000s. And it's just, you either were not ready or you don't have the money. Or you're not thinking that you're worthy enough of it. So I created the Sisterhood as another option. Minimal amount each month, ridiculously inexpensive. But here's the thing, if you go over right now to drkarenosborn.com/sisterhood, you can actually get a 7-day free trial. So there's 0 risk, cancel anytime you want. But this is the first step to you really creating whatever you want over this next year. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, you get your ass to Victoria, BC on June the 10th, actually probably June the 9th, unless you live here locally, a day of travel to get here. And you come to Women Wanting More Live. There is no event that I've ever had like this before. 1 day, action-packed, 50 women, power. At the end of that, clarity on who you are, clarity on what you want, knowing why it matters, commitment to doing the work, and an action plan to actually put it into place. Tickets right now, because you're listening to this podcast, are a gift. There is no excuse. Move your motherfucking world to get here. It is that powerful to be away from all the things of everyday life. Family, work, husband. Power happens when you immerse yourself in that process. So you can get your complimentary ticket to Women Wanting More Live over at drkarenosborn.com/live, LIVE. So I will talk to you the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.